Those are all controlled by one. That's the African perspective. It's one, it's oneness, it's whole. Not this duality and this division and this confusion that causes us to be divided, that we walk around here saying I'm light-skinned and dark-skinned. You don't even understand melanation. So when we understand really and captivate ourselves with the right spirit and stop being capitulated in all this darkness and listening to all these pimps and these snake oil salesmen who come around to exploit our women, to lay with them, and to destroy their purity and their virtue. And they come in the name of righteousness, but we know they're nothing but wicked vipers and demons.
I told you, I warned y'all. I said, my brother said to come in here, he gonna come with that fire, and he come with that energy, and he come with that unity, talk, and that's why I had to extend the invitation to the brother, because he just comes with that aura that we need in this community, and I commend him for coming out and supporting us, man.
Oh yeah, man.
You know, I appreciate that definitely.
If you let me just say one more thing, man. I know you brothers got to go. Oh, okay. Go to the next. Okay. Okay, keep it going. See, what has happened, brother, is, you know, Carter G. Woodson thought he was doing something good, and it's beautiful, you know what I'm saying? And I say a lot of stuff, you know, that steps on people's toes, but I tell them I actually missed the mark because I was trying to step on your foot. You know what I'm saying? The thing is this, is we've been confused. You know, he walked around saying the miseducation of the Negro. Well, the Negro is a miseducation. Negro comes from a Latin word called necros. That's a dead people. That's a people without knowledge and understanding of self. I was reading a book today, they were talking about the Romans and the Greeks said, know thyself. They stole that from the Kemites. Just like they stole everything. You understand? And the Kemites, hey, let's keep it real. The Kemites and the Nubians and the Hebrews were all sharing information. They were all building and growing. And now today you got white folk. I call them pale faces. You understand? You got pale faces walking around here saying they're gods of Egypt. Do you think 50 or 60 or 100 years ago, 300 years ago, them brothers and sisters of melanation would have let these Peckerwoods walk around here and say they are the people? Hell no. Ain't no way in the world, man. And this is a year of Jubilee. This is a year of Jubilee, and you got black people walking around here acting like those Edomites. And I was going to call them idiots, but we're playing the fool.
Right.
So we got to wake up and realize that the deception is going on, and the whole point of me saying that about miseducation is in Texas, and that's where we are. That's where we putting it down at, but it's all around the world because No Child Left Behind came in 2003, so you get the same education as me. What happened in 1979, these Peckerwoods realized that it would be a minority majority. And we got to get out of the mainframe of calling ourselves minority, because that means child. And since we are going to be a child of God and the child of the world, it's more black and it's more brown than white all day long around the world. So anyhow, anywho, these Peckerwoods sat down and they looked at the data, they looked at the statistical information. That's why this is beautiful, having this think tank and having this opportunity right here to discuss this information. And they said, what are we going to do? And the brother that was in the room, good Peckerwood, he told the truth. He looked me dead in my eyes. I saw the brown little flicker pop in his eye, you know, from all the alcohol and all the toxins he had put in his body, because Europeans, they live on toxins. They live on filth. And that's why black people are dying at a rate that's unbelievable. A black man here in this country can only live to 64 years. They already got us pegged out, brother. You understand? So they looked at the statistical data and they said, what are we going to do? They didn't talk about penitentiaries. They didn't talk about drugs. They didn't talk about pimping and hoeing from these false preachers that are getting $65 million every week in your church right here in this city and all around the country, over billions and billions of dollars. They didn't talk about that. They said what we are going to do is we're going to create standardized tests. And we're going to force these children to take the standardized tests. Some of our white kids will fail, but most of them will make it, and we'll get the niggers and the spics. They'll go ahead and fail, and we'll set up penitentiaries and all this other garbage based on the reading scores and the test scores that they have established. These are proven facts. I'm not just spitting out conjecture and speculation. You can look at the statistical data. That's why we say, what do we say today? From school to prison pipeline. So what has happened is through the miseducation, you have a generation of young people who see no value in education, who see no value in learning, who see no value in information. So they only get value from what has been prescribed for them, which is that tell lies to your vision.
That's funny you said that, because the Queen was just touching on the tell lie vision.
That's poison.
That's poison. I just want to throw this quick little...
Cut me off, man.
No, I just want to just throw the story in. You don't know how much you inspired this situation right now, because it was at the Dr. Umar event where I watched you open up for him, and something you said resonated with me, saying, you know, we should stop seeing our brothers as a stranger. When you come in contact with your brother, that is your brother.
Correct.
So after the event, me and Dex started talking. We was in line waiting to get me and Yashwan Amon, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
So we started building. And then we met Santero and her family. Her mother was there, her niece was there, and we started building.
Wow.
From that, we were able to create a situation. And then one day, me and Yashua Ramon was shopping, ran into Kahotep. He wasn't even, I don't even know he was there at the first Umar event. He approached us with the same mentality that you was preaching to us. So when he came to us, we were so receptive, like, wow, that brother came.
Right.
And he came with the power. Right. And we connected, and now we here now.
Man, that's power.
Now we're here now.
God, man. Hey, that's power, man. And I just got to say this real quick, man, because that's what they don't want. Right. They don't want us to link up and realize we connect. We're the only people on the planet to where you can have a cousin, a sister, an auntie, somebody, mama and them, somebody in your family that is literally your family, because we have been sold and stolen all around the world.
Right.
That's why when we talk about the physical bondage that we've endured, we have to uplift that. We have to understand that is what sets us apart from all of these people stealing our history. They are living off us. It's a symbiotic relationship. They are parasites. When you go to New York City, you see Manhattan, you see all these Peckerwoods living off Harlem, living off the Bronx, living off Brooklyn. And they're stealing our areas. These things are happening because they know, just like Benjamin Banneker, when he came and went on the 16th Street, they call it the Corridor of Lights because it's facing the White House. They know they have to have a black man because a black man brings that melanation. He brings that spirit. He brings that light. He brings God. We're made in the likeness and the image of it. So when they see that, when they understand that, when they feel that, they know it. That's why they fear us. They talk about why they're afraid of black men. You know damn well why you're afraid of us. You know who we are.
And you know what?
When we wake up, it's on.
And you know what? We do this all for the love and the protection of our sisters and our queens.
Yes, sir.
So with that being said, I'm going to bring the feminine energy in there.
Yeah, please do.
You know what I'm saying? To bring that balance. That's it. We need to bring that balance. And I'm going to go to Santera. Because, I mean, the brother came with the fire. It's on fire in here. I got to cut my air conditioner on right now. Because it's hot in here right now. So, Santera, cool us off a little bit, you know. How do you feel about everything the brother just came in with?
Well, I totally agree. There's nothing that I disagree with or would, you know.
No, I'm good, baby. I appreciate that. That's love, man. Thank you.
Everything you're saying is definitely true, and we see it every day. You know, those of us who are awakened and those of us who are just coming into this, you know, it's clear. You know, we're born with an innate sense that something is wrong in the system, and you know, it's like that's just enough for you to begin to do your research, for you to begin to start connecting with other people that's like-minded, and here we are. You know, so but definitely what he was saying, the thing. Umar had mentioned, Dr. Umar Johnson, who we all know, he mentioned in one of his lectures that, you know, we have to start teaching our children about white supremacy. And with that being said, you know, he said a lot of us don't understand it. You know, we just think it's this whole discrimination, prejudice thing. But in reality, what it is that they know our potential. You know, and like the brother said, that they know who we are. You know, they don't want us to learn these things because they know our potential. You know, they can't give us an inch because we'll run with it. You know, it's like you're in a basketball game and you may be a 50 to 100 points up, but it's like a minute or two left, you're not going to let up, are you? You know, because you know that team is really good and they can come back and beat you. And that's pretty much the same concept of how white supremacy is working, is that they know our potential, and if they give us an inch, we're going to take this planet back over.
Sky Hotep, I know you're dying to get in there, brother. I know you're dying to get in there, man.
I mean, definitely the energy is really flowing through this room right now, bro. I mean, everything that the brother and the sister said was, I mean, dead on. You know, we have to understand that our oppressor is not going to give us the information, the things that we need to make sure that we are going to be able to, you know, not only survive, but, you know, strive and be able to leave wealth for our children and have that generational wealth.
That's so important.
A lot of times, well, most of the time, you know, when black people die, you know, we leave debt, you know, instead of leaving wealth. You know, and the only way we're going to leave wealth for our family, have that generational wealth, we have to start bonding and building with each other. You know, we have to start putting our funds together, because it's not about us. It's about our kids and their children. You know what I mean? So, like, we have to start looking at things, you know, not for just today, but for tomorrow.
Right.
You know, and once we start doing that, once we start linking up, once we start separating ourselves from our oppressor, from people that are really just leeching off of us, once we start building and having things that of our own, we're going to take it over. You know.
And once we do that, I also want to jump in and throw just piggyback what you're saying. Once we separate ourselves, we have to recreate our value system.
Yes.
You know, we have black businesses today, and black folks don't want to support them for what they're asking for, because, oh, Santara, she has a leather business. Who's to say that her leather isn't worth more to us than a Wilson or some other brand?
Right.
We have to recreate that. Her leather crafting is made by a black woman, made by a black queen. We need to value that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If we have Nagash, a shoe company. Some people say, oh, it's too expensive, but you go out and buy Jordans because your value system is incorrect. We have a black-owned company. If they have $300, you know what? It's worth $300 because it's for us, by us.
Right.
Don't look at Nike all the time, and I have to be honest, I'm a Nike fan. So this is something I'm preaching to myself. I don't want to be a hypocrite. I have to stop buying Nikes and saying, you know what, I'm gonna invest in Nagash because it's valuable to me. It's value to my community. It's value to my race.
Right.
What we do now is, oh, that person has a business. We want to get it for the cheap. We want to get it for the low. We want to get a discount. No, we need to value our black businesses and hold it to higher regards, higher than we hold on these European companies.
That's right. That's right.
So we need to recreate our value systems. And with that being said, anybody has anything to say before I close out this powerful bill?
Man, brother, you got me.
Be doing more
I mean, because the thing about it is, when I see this right here, I know we're doing it because this has not been done in this manner, brother. What you're doing right now is profound because let's be honest, our people have been so conditioned. On Saturday night, we get drunk. We go out to a club and spend all our money. Then on Sunday, we go into a church where they teach us lies. On Monday, we work for people who exploit us and lie to us, and we are the last one hired and the first one fired. On Friday, we get a check that we already got spent on Wednesday. So on Thursday, we looking forward to Saturday, and the only thing we're doing on Saturday is killing ourselves with intoxicants. That's why we're intoxicated. So the reality of it is the black man and the black woman are in a state of perpetual death and confusion. And why is that? It's not because that's the way we were designed. As the sister said, that's not our potency and our potential. What it is we have been miseducated. And the people who supposedly are in front of us teaching us are pimping us. Because if they loved us, they'd stand against this system and they tell this system it's nothing and we're going to destroy it. Come hell or high water. We're not going to say justice or else. We know we're not going to get no justice. It's the or else.
Right.
It's time.
Right.
And if you're not talking like that, then sit down or we're going to sit you down.
Right.
So the reality of it is when a black woman is disrespected, like Beyonce was disrespected. People can hate on her and say this, but she has more balls than these punk ass dudes that's out here talking. She got on the Super Bowl stage and had a black beret on her head, talking about formation. See, that's what black people are missing, order and structure. I mentioned that Saturday, and I'm sorry for talking so much, brother. But do you know that if we took all the Saturdays that we go out to the club, we'd have $25,000, man.
52 weeks.
So the thing about it is this. The money is there. They say we spend 1.2, 1.3, 1.4 trillion dollars. But the reality of it is, what are we doing with those funds? Are we wasting it? Or are we getting educated about trust and estates and foundations? That's where these white folk are carrying their inheritance to their seeds. And I pause right there because that's very important. We have to understand our inheritance is not just the tangible physical things that we get on this earth, but our good name. If we gave our children a good name, they walk with their head held high, and they wouldn't be falling for this pimp game that they see on BET, nothing but Black Lives. So the whole thing I close out with, if black lives are going to matter, we're going to see more of these kind of things. And the brother dropping the information that he just dropped. Now, last little thing I'll say is April Fool's Day, they call it April 1st, but that's because they haven't taught us that actually the first in the origin was the new year. And they changed it. The Romans changed it to Jan, or the Janus, the two-headed god. They changed it because they have to keep us away from our spirituality. We know about the Haitians. We know about they broke away. And there was one other. And each time they broke away because they had their own authentic gods and their own way of practicing their faith. Religion and all that madness that we get involved in, I'm not knocking it. But what I'm saying, if it's not able to free you, then it's enslaving you.
We'll leave you with that, man.
You want me with that? I was going to give you the last 2 minutes.
The brother got me on the debate, man. Hey, y'all better come with y'all A game.
Hey, listen.
I'm gonna tell y'all up, man.
I'm gonna take these last 2 minutes to thank my panel, Kahotep, Shantara, Yashran Amun, and Brother Cedric. I'm Sonny Nasu behind the cameras, and wow. Wow. That's all I can say is wow. Like I said, we're here in Houston. If you want to come through and build with us, bring your ideology, whatever you subscribe to, bring it. Share it to the people. You have a voice here. As long as you come here as brothers and you leave here as brothers, you are welcome. With that being said, we're signing out. We love you. We'll see you soon.
Peace, man.
Peace.